Good evening, everyone. It's really wonderful to see all of you today. For many of us, Winpe has been a journey that we've been a part of in different ways. Some from the very beginning, others more recently. But what brings us together is a shared belief that this industry can evolve and that we each have a role to play in shaping that evolution. Today is not just a moment to celebrate how far we've come. It's also a moment to pause, reflect, and think deliberately about where we go next. Because change in this industry will not happen by default. It will happen by design. And Winpe, in many ways, is an effort to design that change thoughtfully and collectively. We are at an interesting point in our journey. The ecosystem around us is growing. There is increasing institutional engagement. And as an organization, Winpe itself is maturing, which makes this the right moment not just to continue doing more, but to step back, reflect, and reset direction where needed. At its core, Winpe has always been about expanding women's participation in capital. And the way we approach this has been guided by three principles: substance over symbolism, collaboration over competition, and institutions over initiatives. Because real change does not come from isolated efforts. It comes from shifting how institutions think and operate. Our theory of change. When we think about change in this ecosystem, we recognize that the challenges are layered. Women continue to be underrepresented in leadership. There are barriers to entry and progression. There is a lack of targeted mentorship and networks. And there are still embedded biases that we need to actively work against. Which means that the solutions also need to be multidimensional. From transforming institutions to building mentorship, to strengthening networks, to creating pipelines, to enabling capital. Each piece plays a role. So how do we go about it? At its core, our work, like I said earlier, is anchored in institutions, because that's where change in this industry ultimately happens through how firms build teams, shape leadership, and allocate capital. What we are trying to do is make all of that more intentional, to help firms think more structurally about talent, how it is identified, nurtured, and advanced. And within that, creating clearer pathways for women becomes a critical lever. So instead of progress being dependent on individual moments or sponsorship, it becomes more consistent, more visible, and more repeatable. And when you connect these pieces, you'll see this is not about programs. It is about building stronger systems where talent, opportunity, and capital are aligned by design. That's almost like my keyword today. Because between all of us in this room, we are not just a part of this system, we are shaping it. So let's look at Winpe today. Today, we are seeing a growing member collective, a growing community. We are seeing deeper engagement across funds and institutions. And importantly, we are seeing increasing credibility within institutions and within the ecosystem. These are important signals, not just of growth, but of relevance. At the same time, we have been intentional about strengthening Winpe itself. We have a stellar advisory board. And we weigh in on this advisory board for guidance, wisdom, and experience. We are building a stronger team. We are investing in deepening our capabilities. We are expanding our partnerships. And we are creating more and more pathways for our impact. When we look at our partnerships, they are a way sorry, let me just move to the side. When we look at our partnerships, they are a way for us not only to expand our reach, but also to multiply our impact. Because if we want to multiply our influence, we go back to our first principles, collaboration versus competition. So whether it is our work with FCDO, the UK government, whether it is working with BII, whether it is working with Excellence Enablers and Sheffield Harvard to build both training and community, whether it is working with Niti Aayog and WEP, these are all partnerships that are not only expanding our impact, but at the same time, strengthening our critical presence and contribution to the ecosystem. Next slide. So what is working well? I think the key things are working well. We have, like I said earlier, a very strong community engagement. We have growing ecosystem credibility. And we have increasing institutional invest. And as we are building credibility in the ecosystem, we think these are really encouraging signs. At the same time, there are questions that continue to stay with me. Pace of structural change is the first one. Are we moving fast enough, or are we too slow? Are we too slow? Really? How do we stay focused as we grow? And how do we build the right set of capabilities for the next phase? Because progress is visible, but it is not yet inevitable. And that brings us to what comes next. Today, where can Winpe and all of us in this room have greatest impact going forward? What should we prioritize next? And importantly, how can this community help shape that direction? Because the next phase of Winpe will not be built by a few people, it will be shaped by all of us. And the decisions we make from here will not just define outcomes, but also who gets to shape those outcomes. One of the most powerful levers for change is leadership. Who sits at the table where decisions are made, right? And if we want institutions to evolve, we have to be intentional about who is in those rooms. That is the thinking behind our Women on Boards initiative,